What's going on, everybody? David here from Bluckers Videos and Toys, and today we are going to be checking out the Jurassic World Chaos Theory Epic Evolution Gigantic Trackers Bajadasaurus. I believe that is how you pronounce the name, so if I butchered it, forgive me. But I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm just going by how I read it. So this is from Mattel, and very happy to have a brand new species in the collection. I did pick this up a while ago, probably about a year ago or so, as it was on clearance. So, and I'm just now coming around to reviewing this thing. So, again, very happy to have a brand new species in the collection. And let's go ahead and break the figure out and take a look at the packaging. Alright, with the figure out of its packaging, so this will be your standard Gigantic Trackers packaging for the Jurassic World Chaos Theory line. And so basically, you have a sunset background with a road there on the card back with some mountains and some clouds. And then you got that bright ass sun right there. And you have the forest logo right there, and to let you know that's where it's or desert or whatever you want to call it. I'm guessing it's the forest. And then you have the Jurassic World logo right there on the corner, and then you have the picture of the Bajadasaurus right there, and it just tells you how to operate the mechanism to activate the action feature. And then here on the bottom of the packaging, you have the Netflix logo right there with the Allosaurus. And then you have, what is his name? I can't even remember his name. Darius. Yes, you got an adult Darius right there. And then you got Gigantic Trackers, and then Bajadasaurus, and then Jurassic World Chaos Theory, and then with Epic Evolution right there. And then you got ages 4 and up, that's me. And then you got the Mattel logo right there. And on the side of this packaging, you got Jurassic World Chaos Theory logo there. And then you got another different logo with the Jurassic World Chaos Theory right there. So, and then on the bottom of the packaging is all the copyright information. Then we turn this thing around, and on the back of the packaging, we have Gigantic Trackers Bajadasaurus. Just weird pronouncing that name. And then it says evolved for battle. So then it just tells you how to work the mechanism to do the action feature. And then also it's got that tail action feature right there. And then you got the forest. I wouldn't say it's a forest, but it's like a regular land or plain logo. I forgot what it was called. It was called something. Then you got the Jurassic World Chaos Theory logo there. And then you got Rampage Attack. And then, of course, you got the Fax App information right there. And then, of course, you got the swamp thing with the Mapusaurus right here. So, of course, they put them in the biome with the swamp area. Swamp biome. All right, so that is the packaging. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at the Bajadasaurus. All right, so here is the Bajadasaurus. I'm telling you, that's just, I love pronouncing that name. It's just the way it sounds. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing it right, but all the reviews I've seen prior to mine, they pronounce the same thing, so I'm guessing that that's how you pronounce it. But anyways, so this particular species was found in Argentina and lived in the early Cretaceous, and I don't know the formation of it. I did do some research, but I can't pronounce any of the formations that it was found in, so I'm just going to give it to you as it lived in the early Cretaceous and was found in Argentina and South America. That's about as much as I know. But it is a smaller sauropod with a short neck. There is a word for it. I just don't remember. But they categorize certain species that have shorter necks a certain category. And so this is one of the species. And it's relative to a cousin of the Amargasaurus, which we have, and we will do a comparison to it. So this is actually a real dinosaur with the spikes or whatever that comes out like that, protrudes out like that. So that is a real thing. So, of course, when you think epic evolution, you think that it grew some weird shit on it. But no, this is an actual species. I don't think it had this on here, but if it did, kudos to it. But I think this is just was added just to kind of have that epic evolution to it. So which makes sense for the species that is going for and for what the theme of it. Now, I do like this better than what they're doing with the Jurassic World survival line. I will not be picking up those particular that I actually won't be picking up that particular line except for like species that I don't have, new species. Yes, they're a little weird, a little odd. I don't like the aesthetics of it, of a majority of them. That's why I'm pretty much going to be skipping most of that line. So unless if it's a new species that's come out that I don't have in the collection, I will not be bothering with it, And some people like it. They think it's the coolest thing in the world, and that's fine, But I can accept this, but this actually has kind of what the aesthetics of a dinosaur would look like, even though it's got some weird shit on it, some armor or whatever it is, but it's still a little bit more resemblance to what the species is. Now, what they're doing with the survival line, it's far out there. But there are videos out there that explain what the the survival line is and what it does, and there are some reviews currently up with those particular figures. Some of it's pretty cool, but some of it I don't need or want because some of the aesthetics just look atrocious to me, and I'm just trying to limit to how many species I have. There are some things that I do have doubles of, but they're on the smaller side, not the larger side. So, but I only pretty much have room now for like new species and stuff. So even that's becoming a little crunch for space. But anyways, enough of that. We're here to take a look at the Bajadasaurus. So, but yeah, so this is a real thing, and the spines or the spikes that comes out of its neck right here, maybe with the exception of that, that's a real thing. So, it's very cool, very unique and different. I'll say that. But I did. There was one reviewer that really had an issue with this because of the fact that the sauropod has a beak, and long story short, sauropods don't have beaks. The way their jawline is structured, it's to like basically rake their teeth. They grab the leaves or the grass, whatever it is that they're eating. They rakes it up and they swallow it, and then they swallow stones, and it goes in their gullet and into their stomach, and it helps break up the leaves and stuff that they ate. Because they don't have teeth that can really like tear things apart. Kind of like cows. They eat kind of like that. So that's what we think. Excuse me, sorry about that. But as far as this figure goes, I really do like the figure a lot. And I know I say it in all my videos that I really do love the sculpting of it, because I really do. And some of the best sculpting out there, So they make this short neck, fat, as it should be. And, very little muscle structure because they are sauropods. They're big, hefty, big species. So I do like the fact that it got the little stomach regions right here where it shows a little bit of lines right there, a little bit of stomach muscle right there. Not too much. It's pretty deep though, you know, the way the sculpting is. It's pretty deep, you can tell right there. And then, you know, you got the kind of like the texturing is kind of like elephant-esque, I should say. And it don't really have a whole lot of osteoderms except for the back right there on the tail a little bit, you know, just to kind of coincide with all of this right here. So which is fine. And got the muscle structure texture here on the front legs too as well. And then here on the other side, not as deep. It's deep, but it's not as deep as the other side because, you know, just the way, because of the stance is and how they presented it, you know, the way it looks like it's walking, you know. So, and then here, you know, same thing. So it's not as deep or as dense as on the other side is, which is fine, you know. Just kind of give it some little bit of different variety on each side, you know. Doesn't always have to be the same, you know. But yeah, so it is casted in this cream colored plastic. So it looks like a lot of this right here on the side of the scaling of the neck and on the side of the shoulder and belly and tail. Looks like it's airbrushed. So I do like the pattern and the texturing of how they did the paint scheme of it. So it really does bring it out a lot, in my opinion, even though it's more of a darker tone than anything. So you got that velvet red color here, and then you got the cream color, you know, along the neck and the belly, all along right here down to the tail. So which is really cool. So and of course you got the Jurassic logo right there. And then as far as the head sculpt goes, it looks really good, you know, except for this, you know, the beak of the figure. So why they added that, I don't know, because they actually do have a skull of this particular species. So, but it's passable for what they're going for. It is Jurassic World, so it's not going to be 100% scientifically accurate because there's always going to be some kind of mishaps somehow. So, but still, it looks good. You know, whether it's accurate or not, I do like the head sculpt of it. So it's very nice. The eyes are good, you know, on here. Well, except for that one. That one looks like it's looking down. This one, like, it looks pretty normal right there. So it looks like it's looking at you like it surprised it, like, oh, you know. But yeah, the patterning of it, you know, is very good. You know, sculpting, well, it's well done. And so I do like the fact that that these are all individuals. I wish they had it like this, but you can tell these are just separate pieces. How it's just one big piece, and they just glued it or whatever they did to right here. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the figure itself. And so as far as the action feature goes, here is that rolling thing right here. I'm pretty glad that they got rid of it. I mean, it worked for some things, but other things it's just like, why? You know. So we do have, so it's supposed to rear its head down, and then not up, but down. And then that's supposed to come out a little bit more. So, and then it sticks up like that. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. And then it just closes up a little bit. So I do like how, you know, here, the good thing about these particularly rolling things is that you can just roll it to a certain point and you can have it sitting like that, you know. It's not just a press of a button where it just comes back right back up. But here you can actually have it in different poses, you know, if you want it. So that's really cool. And then, of course, here is the button for the tail action. So that's acceptable. But like I said, some of these rolling things is good for certain things, but it's not, doesn't work. Well, it works, but doesn't really do well or for when it comes to certain species. That's just me, you know. But I do like this particular figure because I think it's really well done. And of course, you know, the short tail should be a little longer, but then again, you know, it is Mattel. They should be used to it by now. All right, so let's go ahead and do some comparisons. All right, so the first comparison we're going to do is its distant cousin, the Amargasaurus. So here we have the Bajadasaurus alongside the Amargasaurus. So they were both found in the same area, so you have to assume that they did live together, you know. So they were the smaller sauropods that lived in the early Cretaceous. So I really do like that a lot, though. That's a very cool comparison. And for whatever reason, this thing is like ridiculously expensive. I did get this for her as a Christmas present that my wife got me when that was out, and apparently it was like it never sold. You know, whatever reason. For whatever reason, once it went away, everybody panicked, and now it's like a sought after figure all these years later. So it's crazy to me. So hopefully one day this will make another comeback, because I do like the Margosaurus. I like this figure a lot, you know. So, but I do have a review on it. So if you want to check out that review, please do so. I would greatly appreciate it. So you just have to go through my playlists. But anyways, but yeah, so great comparison. You know, two different species that are related to each other and got similar traits and everything. So very happy to have it. You know, very happy to have them together. So all right, let's go ahead and move on to the next comparisons. All right, so the next comparisons will be species that it lived in the same time frame. So not necessarily lived alongside it, but pretty much that lived in the early Cretaceous. So, of course, you know, it's going to be from different areas. All right, so the first one up is the Neo-Overnator. So we got that. And also we have another smaller sauropod that it lived with, or along the same area, not area, because this was found in Africa, so it couldn't have lived with it, even though it was all the way down in Argentina. So lived in the same time frame. Here is another sauropod, the Nigersaurus. So that lived in the same time frame, as well as the Minmi, or Minmi, however you want to pronounce it, and also the Sauropelta. So that's very cool as well. And so for the final comparison we have is a human. So that's almost pretty much accurate. The Bajadasaurus needs to be a little bit tad bigger, but that's pretty much close to it, even though it's just a little bit on a smaller scale. So that is the review of the Bajadasaurus. So let me know in the comments below what you think of this particular species. Have you heard of it? Do you know anything about it? Let me know. And don't forget, words of wisdom. Buy what you love and not what you like, because if you buy what you like, you will always end up getting rid of it. And I will catch y'all later.